Hotline League is brought to you by Omen by HP. We got Dr. Manhattan returning to the show. He's been here previously. He's a Twitch sub. How's it going, Dr. Manhattan? Where are you calling from?
I'm doing well. I'm calling from the distant planet that is our nation's capital in Washington, D.C.
Our second Washington, D.C. caller.
Nice.
Calling into the show today after Risen Lazarus. Hopefully your performance on the show is better than his. What did you want to talk about?
Mainly wanted to ask the producers just some of like the highs and lows. Like I don't want to get into too specific because I'm not here to just dig drama and just find anything like that. Obviously, like that's not what I'm trying to do. But like any specific times where it was just like as producers or like as camera guys that you guys see, it's just like shit. Even though you're behind the camera, because I think Max at one point said these guys I consider like some of the guys I consider like really close friends, and it's like at one point even like behind the camera or like maybe that we don't see, that's just like it becomes much realer for you guys.
Damian kind of just talked about that a little bit with his TI experience, but yeah, Max, TSM has had a lot of highs and really low lows, maybe more than any other team in the LCS. Like what, the NALCS at least, what has that whole experience been like for you?
The room and atmosphere in at every Worlds I've been to, I guess, all three, after we get knocked out, is one of the worst times to film ever. I literally just want to put the camera down and not keep filming the guys. It just feels like wrong to just film these guys in such a vulnerable and emotional state. Like it just feels super weird, but I know it has to be done. And sometimes those rooms are cramped, so I'm like kind of in their face. It's really, really weird, and I hate it. It's like the worst part of the job. So those moments are like, especially 2016, getting knocked out of that one was pretty dark. Just really, really grim atmosphere. So yeah, and then also losing it at MSG, that's like the first time I ever saw like some of the guys cry. So that was pretty dark, and then losing in Las Vegas versus CLG was also pretty sucky. So yeah, those 5 moments, I guess, were the worst.
And how much of that translates, because it's an interesting situation, the same way that Damian talked about feeling like a lot of empathy for the players that were on stage at TI when they win and sort of sharing that moment with them. Was it like for you, do you feel like you share a connection with the players? Like is it almost hard to shoot in the really big moments because you want to celebrate with them, and is it hard to shoot? Because I remember I've been on the floor with you as I'm taking a picture of the players lifting a trophy and you're filming them lifting the trophy. What's that experience like for you?
Yeah, dude, I just want to like jump up and down when we lose or when we win, like LCS, like every time, and I just want to like go up on stage and give them all hugs because I was there, like I was filming them, talking about strategy, talking about picking bans. It's like, oh, nice, this picking ban went well. Like I know a bit about the game just from like being there and listening, and so when I know something was going well, I just like want to stop filming and go give these guys hugs. But yeah, like it is pretty tough, like not to get involved, like even when something good is happening, like when there's like a joke going around and you want to join in on the conversation. It's like, I want to say something, I have something to say, but I can't because I want to keep filming.
Yeah, Max is really good at not saying anything. Well, Gabriel on the other.
I am awful. I'm terrible at it.
Something funny happens and
I laugh at everything that's said, and I'm working on it.
It's really hard. It's
really
really hard.
When Max, because actually you slipped there for a second. You said you want to jump up and down when we lose, and Twitch chat called you out for it. But there's got to be moments where it is you must be like, wow, this is gonna be such good content. Like this might be the best episode ever.
That's what I was gonna ask.
I remember with Rebirth, Damian, like one of your favorite episodes, and Gabe and I were talking about this the other day. We still agree it's like one of the best episodes ever. Was the episode at Madison Square Garden when Team Liquid is watching TSM lose to CLG, and knowing that they can't control their fate at all, and they are now like their dreams are going away because they expected TSM to beat CLG, and it must be like a terrible moment for you, but also like that terrible moment spawned maybe like one of the best pieces of content you've ever made.
Mm-hmm.
What is that dynamic like? Because it's got to be kind of weird, and neither one of you guys
Yeah.
can answer.
It's
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
Go for
go
it,
for
Damien.
it.
Go for it, Damien.
Okay. It's definitely like there are some times when there's a loss and you're like, well, this is a very interesting narrative because, X player from the team last year just beat our team this year, and like Twitch chat starts to spam X was a problem sort of bullshit. And you're like, well, I mean, this is interesting because he's surely grown like Lorlo and Matt beating us, right? It's like, well, this is pretty shitty for our team, but it's great for the narrative. Like it's very interesting that those players are doing very well, and it's a double edge, right? Because right now I feel bad because the team lost to them, but at the same time, it was also a really joyful moment because it's like, oh, Matt and Lorlo have won, and this is like incredible. And so I was like on the edge, not knowing how to feel.
Dude, exact same story. What can I say?
Yeah.
100 Thieves lost to Golden Guardians too. So good job, man, Lorlo. But why'd it have to be us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A moment I think of a lot is like I think it was Rebirth or Squad, can't remember, but there's just like, oh, I guess it was Rebirth, like when Loco just smashes his keyboard on like a
Breaking
Oh,
table
that
at
was breaking
LCS.
point.
Yeah, and then like, sure, like that loss must have sucked, but if I was holding the camera, I'd be like, dude, this sucks, but like this is gonna be some amazing content. Like this is gonna be a great scene. So yeah, that happens a lot, and kind of like a guilty feeling there sometimes, but ultimately we're there not to like be a fan, but to make a video.
And
Damien,
There's
do
there's
you remember
actually
that special like with the water bottle.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, that's what I say. Do you remember that one though? Because that was
Well,
so
yeah,
funny.
it kind of tangents on like what I was gonna say. There are a lot of times that stuff happens, and I'm like, shit, I wasn't rolling.
Yep.
And like
Yep.
I used to beat myself up so much about that. Like, how did I miss that? How did I miss that? And ultimately, like, if if you if the audience doesn't know that something happened, it didn't happen, and it doesn't matter. But I always feel so bad either not capturing a really great emotional moment or a really great joyous moment where I'm like, oh, how did I not roll on that joke, or how was I not rolling in that water bottle that X Special threw hit the ground and exploded on Phoenix?
oh, that happened. It exploded on Phoenix.
Oh no, that was just hypothetical.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Remember, if you didn't see it, it didn't happen, Travis.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Interesting. Uh, finally, sort of since we're on this topic, what's it like in the edit? Because then you film these really high highs, you film these really low lows. Not only are you sitting there thinking like, oh, I'm so happy, and also this is gonna be great content, or I'm so sad, but this is gonna be great content. But then you have to make like just one of the most emotional videos ever, right? Like Max, like you had to tell the story for the past 2 years of a team that like did everything they could. Expectations were so high, and then like it just all comes crashing down at the end. And Damian, I mean, Team Liquid, and Gabe too. Team Liquid has had a lot of those situations. All-star rosters end up going to promotion tournaments. So, whenever you guys are in the edit, and I know what I have a glimpse at what it's like. You're going through and you're like cutting things down, so you see like a shot of a player crying like 500 times, right? Because you're like, oh, the LUT isn't working the way I need it to on the shot, or whatever. Like what is that experience like? Because at a certain point in time, do you just become desensitized to it? Like, how does that all work?
Go ahead, Max. Yeah, you can start.
Not desensitized. Still feel it every time. The worst edit by far for me was MSI 2017, 16, the one in Brazil. 17, right?
Yeah.
Just because that whole tournament, we were like struggling through the play-ins, and then we went through all the group stages, or all the group stage, and ended up losing in a tiebreaker. So I have to tell this entire story, show most of the matches, which was like 12 in total. So yeah, that was just pretty grim to go through over and over again. And yeah, like that was one of the most emotional times I've seen the guys, especially Sven. I've never seen him like that like before. So just so dejected after the loss. And yeah, it does like having to watch those clips over and over again. But we went there for a reason, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I maybe not so much a loss for. I mean, I had a team Liquid lost, and they lost. It was the CS:GO team, so not so much that this audience would relate to, but saying goodbye to players has always been hard, and having that in edits is a little tough. So like when we said, I think my hardest one was probably Lorlo and Matt. But with the Lorlo one, you can tell that he was like, you know, his voice was like cracking up a little bit. He was and so being emotional. So cutting those, you want to send them off on a positive note, and you want to like really like say thank you to this person, but like at the same time, it's just like, this is your friend. You've been filming them. You've been like growing with them for the past X amount of years, and it's just like you have to say goodbye. It just kind of sucks.
For me, the Piglet goodbye video.
Oh yeah,
was just
dude,
like,
Damian felt
oh
that
my
was
God.
that was the most emotions I've seen Damian feel.
I couldn't watch it back without getting like I'm getting teary eyed just thinking about it, even though I just saw him.
Yeah, he's like,
But like for a very long time in the back of my head, my thought was I was put on this planet to tell the story of Piglet, and maybe it'll happen again someday.
Yeah, you're wrong, by the way. You're put on the planet to tell the story of Double Lift with me and Faith, the Double Lift documentary.
Yeah, I mean, I have told a lot of stories about Double Lift also. So
yeah, too many actually. Oh, he's on our team. He's saving the day. All right, now he's gone. All right, now he's back.
Yeah,
I am so
now
jealous.
he's
you
a
have Double
villain.
Lift.
Now he's a hero. He's a good kid. Oh, I actually love telling the Dardock story, to be honest.
Oh,
I
Dardock
feel like
is
Gabriel definitely reflects it.
so much fun. I that kid is great. He's a really good kid.
If only those two were on the team at the same time. Imagine Double Lift after Dardock, Locodoco. Can it get any more interesting?
Gabriel,
Beers in top
would you
lane.
want them on Echo Fox winning like Dardock, or would you want Breaking Point Dardock?
Oh, winning Echo Fox winning Dardock. I mean,
Okay.
that kid gets a bad rap, and I don't know if I should like feel slightly responsible or not. And I kind of have. I mean, Breakpoint was a whole thing. Like I went into it only seeing the footage. I didn't film any of it, and that's the year I stepped away from League to do CS:GO content. So I came in like blind. And then like it comes out, and then I see how the community reacts. I'm like, oh no, like I saw this differently, you know?
Yeah.
And so like my whole like task from there on out was like, dang, Dardock's a really good kid. I want to like really show that what I see in him. And so his goodbye video I was able to do, his like welcome back video I was able to do, and then we weren't going to do a goodbye video about him originally because he came back for that short stint on Liquid and was like a really not a big thing. He was only for a couple of weeks. But I was like, if there's anything you want to say, I think I tweeted him, and I was like, if anything you want to say, anything you want to clear the air of anything, like I would gladly stay up because we had to do the video by like the next day. I was like, I'll gladly stay up and make it. And so I was able to tell that story. And so I got to feel like my time in Liquid was the Dardock story.
Yeah.
Good kid though.
Hey,
Honestly.
thanks so much, Dr. Manhattan, for calling in.
Yeah, appreciate it. And I like the perspective from these guys just because, I mean, I've done it before. And I mean, as a fan, it's hard enough. So I can imagine being in the room is just, ugh.
Yeah. And thanks. You sparked, I think, one of the better discussions on the show tonight. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, no problem, man. Appreciate the time.
Yeah.